Let's talk about layoffs. I have had the misfortune of being laid off several times in my career, and it's definitely not enjoyable, and definitely don't recommend. 0 out of 10. But I know there's a lot of people out there that have been affected by layoffs, especially in the last 12 months, maybe even the last 18 months. And so I thought I would just talk a little bit about it because I feel like oftentimes it isn't talked about enough. Like the ramifications of being laid off. Like, what does that feel like? What sort of emotions do you go through? What's that experience like? And so, you know, like I said, I've been laid off. I've been laid off twice. One time it was very unexpected, and the other time it wasn't as unexpected because it was related. It was the second time I was laid off during the pandemic, so you could kind of see the writing on the wall that there was going to be layoffs. I was a little surprised that I was laid off, but I wasn't surprised that there were layoffs as opposed to the first time I was surprised that there was layoffs. So, but I can tell you that when you go through that, one of the first things for me personally was, I mean, I felt like, is this my fault? Did I do something? Did I not work hard enough? Was my work not good enough? And I really struggled with that the first time I was laid off. Not so much the second time, but because I realized that no, both times I was doing good work. I was working hard. I was working lots of hours. I was keeping busy. I had a great relationship with my boss. I had a great relationship with my boss's boss. Um, but the truth is that those decisions are made so far up the chain of command that, you know, most of the time your boss and even your boss's boss are going to have no say in the matter. They're going to they're going to be on a phone call and they're going to say, this is a list of people that we're laying off and this is the day that we're laying them off. And they might advocate on your behalf, but at the end of the day, very rarely does that advocacy pay off in your name coming off that list. And so it's important that you realize that it's not your fault that you were laid off. Just because, you know what, there's a list of people and you could have been doing good work. Maybe you weren't doing good work, but it almost doesn't even matter because they're just going to come up with this list of individuals they want to lay off. And you oftentimes are just wrong place, wrong time. And it has nothing to do with you as a person, your abilities as a worker, or your competencies, or the amount of work you're doing. So you want to make sure that you don't take it personally. It's hard not to, trust me. I know it's hard not to take it personally. But you really have to understand that it really is a business. It is a business decision, and so you have to try to move on. And so, some of the other things you might be feeling depressed, anxious, trouble sleeping. You might not be able to enjoy things you normally would enjoy because you're just feeling stressed out about being laid off, and now you have to look for a job. Hopefully, if you've been laid off, you received some sort of severance to try to give you a little bit of a runway to find the next job. But that's not always the case. But the one thing I definitely would encourage you to do is while it's important to get back out there and be looking for a job, and you definitely need to be doing that. You also need to, if you can take some personal time for reflection, and still find time to work in things that you enjoy. And so I know for me, when I got laid off, I made it a point to engage in things I like to do. So obviously I had a lot of time on my hands after that had happened. So I worked on lots of the projects that I had going on around the house. So there are several rooms I needed to repaint. There's some landscaping I needed to do. And I enjoy doing that stuff. I'm not recommending you do that if you don't enjoy it, but I enjoy doing that work. And so that was a way for me to take my mind off of what was going on. So I'd look for jobs and apply for jobs in the morning and do some networking just before lunchtime. I'd make myself some lunch. I wouldn't be on my computer when I had lunch, and then after lunch, typically between 1 or 1:30 and 4 or 4:30 before I pick up my daughter from daycare, I went and did projects around the house. I weeded, I gardened, I redid some landscaping, I mowed, weed whacked. If the weather wasn't good, I was inside painting. There's always some things I could be doing around the house, cleaning, laundry, things like that. I don't enjoy laundry, but it was something to keep my mind off of it, right? So definitely try to engage in activities so you're not solely focused on that. And I definitely would recommend that if the layoff is hitting you hard and you're really struggling with your mental health, I really recommend you see someone professionally. the stigma on that isn't as strong as it used to be. There's still some stigma there, but I would just tell you to ignore it, because your mental health is so important. It's so crucial for you to get back out there, to get that next job. Because once you get that next job, after you've been through a layoff, sometimes it's hard to not think, oh my gosh, when is this next axe coming down, and that's going to be it for me again. You can kind of get into that pattern of thinking, and having a therapist or a psychologist to work with can help you kind of work through those feelings and help you realize those feelings are based in the past and not in the future. So I would definitely recommend you do that, because again, you gotta be sharp. You gotta be ready to go when the next opportunity comes. You can't be worried about what's going to happen in your future. So if you've been laid off and you want to talk about the situation you're in, you're more than welcome to schedule a free 1-hour career development coaching session with me. I'll put the link to my calendar in the comments, and you can hop on there anytime you want, and we'll chat for an hour. Again, it is 100% free. It's not a sales call. I will talk to you about your career, where you want to go, provide you some strategies for getting where you want to go, and that will be it. So if you want to do that, look for the link in the comments. Certainly want to hear from you. If you have been laid off, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? What was your experience when you're laid off? The more that you can share on this platform, the more that other people are going to benefit from it. So just my parting thoughts here. If you've been laid off and you're struggling, hang in there. It's going to get better. You are going to find that next opportunity, no matter what it might look like today. I know the job market's out there is tough. I know the hiring process is not the greatest right now, but hang in there. Your next opportunity is coming, I promise. You just got to keep at it, keep working hard, and you'll get there. Until next time, see you later.